and then brought out. So our fuel storage, and then with the containment tank, which is just the bottom half of a septic tank, but not wanting the rainwater to get in there, so just putting a simple roof over it. Framework made out of pallet racking, like you'd see in the Home Depots, and then just a simple wood structure for the roof, a tin underneath, and it's worked real well. Keeps the tank dry, and then we've got an extra area to keep the portable tank and miscellaneous fuel cans. So just another simple project. So an example of some of the equipment that we would fabricate. Actually, I got to be careful. I just painted this one today, so it's just out of the shop. So we do a lot of land clearing on our place here, and being able to pull out the smaller brush. And of course, you can buy these, but we always have to think we have a little better idea of something we want to do. The jaws pinched together, but we wanted to be able to dig with it, and so hence the angled slope here, the additional teeth, and the teeth underneath, and sometimes having to be able, when we're digging, to saw roots off. So we've got the serrated edge there, and then we added on the teeth here for cutting, rough cutting brush. Pusher bar here, a hydraulic cylinder that I had laying around. It came off of a hydraulic boom mower, and then basically just tubing. And kind of a nice little piece of equipment. It probably won't look like this for long. So everybody talks about, if you were doing it over, what would you do different? I guess I would be smarter and not start building the farm here at the bottom of the hill. It could have been higher up on our hilly terrain. But anyways, issue with water management when we get a lot of rain, and with all our impervious surfaces with the parking and the large roofs. And so what we have here is just a cement containment area where it collects roof water and the barnyard water and the parking water. And we actually use a couple of these, but it's basically a reverse drain field where it's a settling pond. The concrete is sloped, so once it's pumped out every year or two, we can scoop out the solids. But then the liquid filters through the stone, and then it's picked up by 3 pipes that direct it into a septic tank below us that has a pump, and then that is pumped probably 400 feet out the back into a hayfield pasture area across a hillside where we're able to distribute it. And so we're not only making use of the water, but all these nutrients that we're able to recapture, and partially as far as pollution control, but also not wanting to, again, lose the nutrients. There. In feeding our cattle here, we use we built this out of material laying around. It's portable. We can move it if we need to. But a fence line feeder, the 2 doors slide back and forth. We can get 4 5-foot round bales in there. And if you can see or not, but the roof extends probably 10 feet over, so the cattle are able to, as they're eating, not only be protected from the weather, but invariably they waste some of the material, and it comes out in front of them. But because the roof is there, it gives them a good area where they'll lay there, and that wasted material then becomes bedding. That works out well. But also we're able to feed far less often, and if you can see the white, we either wrap the bales to protect them, or we'll store them in the barn, or the ones on the bottom where we're using as putting them up as high moisture, triticale, oats, peas, things like that. But anyways, where we've put up a good quality feed, but then we don't want to let it sit out in the feeder for a week during the inclement weather. So this worked out real well, that you put good feed in, and it stays protected. And so we've got another portable feeder we'll show you later that was built in the shop. Here's a quick little example of something built in the shop. We're using the Cannonball track. We've got the double doors sliding by each other, but you'll notice it's just a single track. We've just taken the hanger and offset them, and so the two trolleys are side by side, and they're able to travel each way on a single track. Just something we came up with, a way to utilize just one piece of track that way. Here's one more example of a project coming out of the shop, but utilizing again the pallet racking, the grading for the pallet racks, and then just roll casing pipe, some angle iron, and we've got many of these heavy duty gates that withstand the larger cattle, and if you can see a simple little cable system that helps support it, keep the gates from sagging. That's worked out very well. And actually just some old irrigation pipe to make that particular piece of corral wall. So here's another example of a shop project using the pallet rack tubing to build a cattle chute where we've mounted used head gate, and then more of our gates that we build in the shop, and then as well as the structure here. All of this came out of the shop in large sections, and so it's a combination where we've got, of course, everything's used, but steel I-beams welded to pipe columns. We're able to put that up, put the steel trusses up, and then these are actually dock sections that come off of the lakes around here that we would get for free, and so we're able to very inexpensively construct our buildings with this. But there again, just would not be able to do any of that without the shop. So here we have just some simple little spray booms that we had built to put on a 3-point tank that we had, and folding booms, but where we needed a specialty, so we have a boom that can mount up high for spraying pastures, where we can straddle over the top of a fence row, and where normally a sprayer might not be able to handle that. So another little tubing project there. So here's an example of a reuse of these bulk liquid containers that we get our different products in, and several of them that we keep around for different uses. But because in Michigan we have the MEAP program, where we're voluntarily managing our how we handle our chemicals and groundwater and different things, and so part of the requirement is a double containment. And so what we have here is where we'll get the herbicide in the 35-gallon barrels, and then of course everything in the 2.5-gallon jugs. So it's providing the double containment in that it's stored in here, but then within the little warehouse here, we can move it around with a pallet cart, get it out, and then pick it up with the loader, and then take it right to where the sprayer is on the fill pad, and raise it up, and standing on the platform of the sprayer, and then with a hose, then able to meter it and pump it directly into the sprayer, and thereby really cutting down on any of the chances of spillage of pumping something up high or having to transfer it, being that we're dealing with smaller quantities than a large tanker filling a big sprayer. So, anyway, so again, where it's able to contain it and then transport it and then store it. So it's just kind of good